A shotgun can be a very formidable tool for defending your home, especially if it's loaded with quality buckshot like I covered in our last video. But there's more to a good home defense shotgun than just ammo selection. You can use an old 28-inch barrel bird gun to defend yourself, and plenty of people have done that in the past, but we want something that's more than just barely adequate. We want every possible advantage we can get, and that's why we want a shotgun that is specifically configured for the purpose of home defense. So I'm going to go over 6 different features of a good home defense shotgun. First, you want a short barrel, preferably 18 to 20 inches long. That's not so you can get a wider shot spread. The short barrel is actually not going to have any effect on the spread. The short barrel is so you can get the gun out of storage more quickly and maneuver it more easily around the inside of a house. With walls and doors around, a long barrel is just a pain to deal with. Makes the shotgun slow and kind of clumsy to use, so stick with a short barrel. The second thing to look for is a short buttstock. The standard stocks that come with shotguns are always too long. For defensive shooting, you want a shorter stock so you can square your shoulders to the target and bring the shotgun in and get the weight of your whole upper body behind the gun, not just your shoulder like that. You'll have much better control over it and you'll feel less recoil. You probably want a stock with a 12 to 13 inch length of pull. That's the distance from the trigger to the rear of the stock. You can cut down a wood stock to get it this short, or buy an aftermarket replacement stock like the Hogue Youth stock or this Magpul stock. Even if you're a larger than average person, you can really benefit from having a shorter stock on a defensive shotgun. Okay, number 3, you want to think about magazine capacity. Most shotguns come from the factory with a magazine tube that holds 4 shells. You might want a tube extension that's going to give you a few more than that. Most defensive shotguns will hold like 5 to 8 rounds. Now, I don't like a whole lot of extra weight and bulk on the end of my shotgun, so I'm fine with just a smaller +1 tube, but you might want a little bit extra. A longer tube is fine as long as you're not extending out past the length of the barrel. You want to keep that gun nice and compact. Very few defensive encounters with a shotgun require more than a couple of shots, so having 5 or 6 rounds in the gun should be plenty. Of course, there are those outlier events, and that brings us to number 4. It's not a bad idea to have some way to carry spare ammo on the shotgun. And this isn't necessarily essential, but a good buttstock mounted shell carrier is really inexpensive, and these side saddle type carriers aren't all that much either. I think it's a little faster to load from the side saddles, but some of them add extra bulk and weight, sort of mess up the balance of the gun. The stock mounted carriers are fine too, even though they might be a little slower. Either way, you can practice firing a couple rounds and then loading a couple rounds from your carrier. That's a good way to drill some manipulations, so it just feels like second nature if you ever do need those extra rounds. Number 5, another not quite essential but really helpful thing to have on a home defense shotgun is a sight upgrade. Plenty of people are fine using the standard old-fashioned brass bead front sight, but I think even at short distances you get a lot more precision if you're using rifle sights or ghost ring aperture sights like these. And if you practice a little, you don't necessarily give up any speed. You might actually be able to get on target faster. If you have a rail on top of your receiver for mounting optics, a quality red dot might be the quickest and easiest type of sight you can get on a shotgun. Just keep in mind that sight is going to take a pounding if it's mounted on a 12 gauge, so I would stick only with the top shelf optics brands like Aimpoint. Finally, number 6 is some way to mount a light. This might not be 100% necessary depending on how dark your house gets at night. I really like to have a light on my shotgun just to confirm target identity because I really don't want to shoot somebody who doesn't need to get shot. I'm using this Magpul 4-end on my 870, which lets me attach a piece of rail, and then I've got a Streamlight handgun light mounted onto that. There are plenty of other options though. Surefire makes a 4-end with a light integrated into it. They're really easy to use with the built-in switch. Whatever solution you come up with, don't plan on just shooting at noises in the dark. That's a really good way to end up shooting your dog, or worse, a member of your family. Okay, so on that cheerful note, that wraps up the 6 priorities that I look for in a home defense shotgun. If you want to know why I didn't include things like a sling or choke tubes, check out today's blog post. The link to that is in the video description.